Hi guys, welcome back to another episode, and today we have a very interesting person. And I say that because I don't know even how to sign my name. And before we go there, I'd like to say thank you to all the subscribers, the people who've listened for the last 8 episodes. And now in this one, we have someone who's called Tracy. Tracy is a sign language interpreter, and she'll tell us how she became a sign language interpreter and what skills that she has within this scope of interpreting.
Yeah.
So welcome, Tracy,
Thank
to
you.
Just Not Career podcast. Yeah. So you can.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
My name is Tracy Dorcas Werimo.
Okay.
I've been doing sign language interpretation for the last 7 years now.
Okay.
That's what I eat from. So it's actually a career on its own.
Okay.
And people are surviving out here from it. Yeah, so what got me into it, back then in high school, there were some visitors who came. And they did some presentation on the alphabets. And it was intriguing for me.
Okay.
When we closed school, that was the first thing I told my mom. I think I'm going to do this thing after high school, jokingly. Then we were like, wow, I think that's a brilliant idea. I think back then I was either first term in Form 4 or that term in Form 3. Yeah, so I told her, and we were thinking that is not something that is found in Kenya. Because back then there was actually no sign language interpretation on TVs.
Wow.
So we thought, wow, I mean, this is something that you should look forward to, yes, but where will we also get the money from?
Yeah.
Anyway, we brushed off the idea. After Form 4, again, I did not pass as I expected. So I really wanted to do international relations, which I've done, yes.
Okay.
But then at that level, my dad told me, I don't think this idea is so much visible for you.
Okay.
Why don't you try something that is pretty much hands-on? So thinking I was going to humiliate him, I was like, dah. Nitafanya sign language basi. And he was like, yeah, good. So you look for a school, enroll, then let's see what happens. And that's where my journey started.
Okay.
I was not that good in school. There were not many students in the class. We were actually 3 of us. Wow. And the 3, I was actually the last. Like, my teacher, who also happened to be deaf, was like, I mean, you really need to focus, Tracy. I was like, yeah, I know, I really don't care. I'm just here because I want to impress my dad, and I'm here to just finish and then go home. Yeah, but anyway, moving forward, I told myself I'm not really used to being in such a position. So I motivated myself to actually keep on learning and practicing. Funny enough, I was the only one who actually continued with the classes.
Wow.
Till the end. I actually used to interpret for him because it was a Christian school.
And how long were the classes?
Yeah, the first 3 months were for the basics.
Okay.
Then another additional 3 months for the advanced level.
Okay.
And in total, those are like 6 months, right? Yeah. With the additional practice that I used to do in terms of interpreting for him, that qualified to have me really develop my interpretation skills. He used to also invite me to school where I used to interpret, to his church.
Okay.
He was Seventh Day. I used to interpret for him on Saturdays. Then on Sundays, I looked for other churches where I could interpret. So it proved not to be like really that much of a hard thing, just the commitment bit of it that I really had to develop. And yeah, voila, that has been my journey since the onset.
Okay. So how long have you done that?
Yeah, 7 years. I hope it's 7 years. Since 2018. I don't know. You do the math.
20.
Yeah.
Almost.
6 years, yeah. So yeah, 6 years. I've done it for 6 years. Then after school, I really used to do a lot of interpretation in churches. That was such a big milestone and a very good platform for me to actually practice.
Okay.
Yes, so that's why I used to like meet deaf people on Saturdays for my in my teacher's church, and on Sunday in one of our parishes. Yeah, so I used to practice a lot and learn. One of the interpreters actually recommended me to go to a deaf school where I would teach the deaf children there, because the school system here, and especially for people living with disabilities, is not that easy. There are not enough teachers, so you just go and teach whatever you know, mathematics, ABCD. And funny enough, deaf children are not born knowing sign language, so you actually teach them like the way you would teach a young child ABCD. You also teach that deaf child ABCD, like from the beginning. You show them, this is a cat. How do you sign a cat? You sign a cat like this. And yeah. So after that, I think an year or two later, I was not feeling that content. See, I am practicing and I am getting involved in all these things, but I was not seeing the financial interests in it, because it was more volunteer work, volunteer. So I held back for a little while, because I was thinking, my dad refused that I should go do international relations. So I was like, headstrong, I need to pay the school fees for myself. And I requested a friend to give me a job. I worked in a garage as a secretary. Wow. Yes. And then something very interesting happened so a client brought in their car. It was very much fixed and all that. Then I tried driving it and I had an accident with it, like not that much, but it was not that. But can you imagine you bringing a car for service and all that, then someone out of nowhere crashes it, like your said, engine.
I've seen that on social media, but yes. I didn't know it was a real
it was like, it was so embarrassing, and it was such a low moment for me, very low for me. The good thing is that the employers and my friend were gracious enough. Of course, they told me, just go home, we'll call you. Till date, I've not received that call. And that helped me realize that my life or my career is not really up to me, and I have to live in purpose. So that was a pretty low moment for me. When they told me that I had to walk from down there, it is an industrial area. I had no fare, I had nothing. I was not being paid much then. So, and I was trying to raise money for my school fees because I want to frustrate my dad as well. So I had no fare, I had to walk all the way to Arboretum because I felt like I needed to release all this tension, this bad luck and all that, the emotions. I prayed to God, and vividly, I hope you know that actually God speaks.
I do know.
Yeah.
I've seen him.
You've seen him speak, yeah. He actually, I would say he spoke to me and he said, you know what, you've been like looking round and round and round, and you already have what it takes for you to live a purposeful and a peaceful life. So he told me, you are made for interpretation. Just go do interpretation. And since then, my life has never been the same again.
Wow.
Yeah, so I would say like from then henceforth it was up and up and up. I got the courage, the motivation, even the grace to actually do what I do. Then I called one of the senior interpreters, a pretty well-known interpreter, and I asked her, can we just have a meeting? Please explain to me all this. And I told her, this has been happening in my life, so what do you suggest? What do you think? And I asked her, do you earn off from interpretation? And she said, yes, I've raised my children through interpretation money. I've raised my children, taken them to school. I am now educating myself, doing my PhD from interpretation money. I go to places that I never would have through interpretation. And so I was really hopeful. And she told me, I will keep you in mind because I run an interpretation agency. And whenever an opportunity arises, then I will be sure to call you. Yeah, and she said, you're really young, so don't lose hope. And then she actually got a pretty much big opportunity to provide sign language interpretation services to one of the media stations.
Okay.
Am I allowed to say it?
You are allowed to say it.
Okay. That TV station was then the Switch TV Kenya. Yeah. And I think I worked there for 3 years. And it was amazing. That was a pretty good platform and opportunity for me to improve on my skills. After that, I think it closed down for live broadcasting. And so we had to leave. And I stayed without continuous work for like 2 years. Then afterwards, the Rural Media Services was looking for interpreters, and I applied, and that's how I got the opportunity. So currently, I'm working at the Rural Media Services, but I also do freelancing.
Okay.
Whenever an opportunity arises, and mainly that's me and my career.
Wow.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yes.
So I think the first time I saw people doing a sign language was in campus.
Oh, really?
And it was because in campus there was a course called special education. And one of my very good friends, she did that special education. And then one of her friends did sign language. So when now she was like, I do sign language, I'm not trying to practice because we have an exam. I'm like, okay, so how do I even sign my name? Okay, I even forgot. The only thing I think I can remember, there's something that you do like this. I don't even know what that is. And then for us as millennials, we have the peace sign. I don't know what that means.
There's actually letter B, but
now you see. So those are the things that really we knew from our point of interacting with people who try to do sign languages. And then now when I go to church, there's also a sign language interpreter.
Amazing.
And for me, the question is always so we are singing. And most of the time, some of the choir people, they come with new songs. So how do you even now start doing that sign language? And then now someone to understand, actually, this is a new song. And then they're doing, so that is always my curiosity. You can at least talk about
Expound
that.
on that, well, with sign language, first of all, with interpretation, it's more of conveying message. From one language source to another, from a source language to a target language. A target language is the intention. What do you want? Which language? So mainly after you've learned the skills, the sign language, but it also keeps on evolving. The signs keep on evolving and all that. So to your question, how do they get to understand all these new songs here? So you pretty much may not have already known everything here, but the fact that you at least know the vocabulary, that's enough for you to go along with it. So every word, actually, most of the words, English words, have their signs, and the ones that don't have, then you give an equivalent of something similar to that. Yes.
And now we have a new generation called Gen Z. And then now we have songs like Gengeton. What is that called? So I think I had maybe Kudade or something. So how do you interpret that song to the audience?
Amazing, my goodness. That's a big challenge because first of all, those songs are not in English. They're in Sheng. And then deaf people don't really know Kiswahili and Sheng. They know English, and so interpreting these songs would really prove to be difficult. But again, you try see if it's that word. Which word was that? Kudade. Oh my God, what does that mean?
Ebu just sign Kudade.
I don't know.
It's Kudae.
You see, I can spell Kude. Well, I can spell it, but what does it mean?
I don't even know.
Yeah, so if really you don't know, then you cannot. You'll just like say, I don't know that. I don't know that sign,
Okay.
but maybe you can try give at least a meaning from what you understand. Kama, which other song do we know? Like
I think we can do like, which one is the easiest one? I think maybe like Baby Shark.
Baby shark.
Yeah.
That's easy. So baby shark is like a shark, the animal, right?
Yeah.
So how do we sign shark? I think shark. So baby shark, baby shark,
Okay.
baby
So
shark.
at least because that one now,
Yeah.
it's an animal.
Yeah.
So you are demonstrating an animal
Exactly.
and then like a baby.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Those
yes,
ones
yes.
make sense.
Yes,
So
yes.
those I think that is the curiosity that I always have when people are doing sign language.
Yeah.
Because this is not like learning a new language, like you're trying to learn French. Because the only thing I've understood with like different languages
Yeah.
is now when you moved out to maybe France or those West African countries that
Yes,
speak
yes.
French,
Yes.
they also have their own sheng. Kinda. So
yeah.
you will be doing the book translation of how English to French,
Yes,
but
yes.
not the
Yeah.
their sheng. I can
Yes,
say,
yes.
or it is slang.
Yeah, their slang, yeah.
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 So that's interesting.
Yeah.
So you can now take us to like the challenges you faced. At least you've told us about like how you're trying to look for a job.
Yeah.
But now when you're doing sign language, what challenges do you face?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're now sign languaging to, I guess there's something like sign languaging. Yeah.
Interpret.
So, yeah. When you're interpreting to
Yeah.
now maybe young kids or maybe grown-ups,
Yeah.
how do you?
Yeah.
The challenges there.
Well, the challenges that you'll mainly face at work, or I face at work mainly, is the vocabulary, because this language keeps on changing, and so there's a word that may come up and really you've never encountered that word before,
Okay.
and so you'll probably finger spell it. So that you can really find out the meaning after and actually know how to sign it. So that's one of the main challenges that probably you'll face. And number two is people in Kenya, or let's just say worldwide, don't really understand this field fully. And so whenever you're called for work, or even just like on air, you may find that an interpreter is interpreting continuously for more than 20 minutes. And that leads to fatigue. And there are consequences, especially as you get older, and there are diseases that you may actually acquire from that.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So, because people don't understand that, they think that when you are going for an assignment and you request for having more than one or having two or more interpreters, they think that no, you are too many. No, we usually have to interchange, like after every 20 minutes rests, 20 minutes rest, because of the mind functioning. Those are mainly the challenges that I face. And the regulation. People think you're just throwing your hands. You're not. Even if you're throwing your hands, there's a meaning to whatever you're doing. Okay. So everything that you do has a meaning. So we are not just throwing our hands. You are actually portraying, expressing message and all that. So people think you're throwing your hands, and so they think you are not whatever money you're quoting to be paid, and so they think they would pay you peanuts for that, and that's not right. Yeah. So, but we also kind of don't really have that regulation for everyone to know that this is the standard amount that an interpreter should be paid, especially a sign language interpreter. And so I think those are the three main challenges I can remember. Yeah.
Okay. So also you've said that you also do freelancing.
Yes.
And have you encountered very hard clients? Maybe they don't want to pay.
Yes.
Or whatever you've taught.
Yeah.
When you go back.
Yeah.
You have to repeat again or something.
Yeah. Yes. I've encountered that. I think last year I really encountered so many such clients. Yes, and it got to a point. There's one I confronted actually.
Okay.
And they had not paid me. I worked. We had agreed on this X amount of money. then they just kept quiet. After a while, I got to talk to them again. They kept quiet again. Then we met physically, and I told them for me to continue with this, because it was kind of an ongoing program. If you want me to continue with this, first of all, you need to let me know if you're paying me, and if you are really paying me, when. And that led to a confrontation. And I told them I'm not leaving this place until you pay me. It may really have looked pretty unprofessional, but I had really struggled to work and to see the success of that particular project. They paid me eventually, and I told them this is the last time I'm working with you. Yes. Yeah. But such things come up whenever you really don't sign a contract.
Oh.
So as an interpreter, if you're watching this, it's very important for you first to have a contract, have an agreement, so that if someone thinks they can change that, then you at least have the proof.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then is there a governing body for interpreters?
We really don't have a governing body yet, but I think that's something that is going to come up very soon, especially if the proposed bill passes about deaf education and interpretation. But for now, we do have an association of Kenya Sign Language Interpreters Association. So that's it for now. We'd really is that a governing body? I don't know.
It helps at least you have an association.
Yeah.
So at least that you're a member of an association.
Yes.
Yeah. So the other thing that I wanted to know about interpretation.
Yes.
So mostly, it's always find it funny.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. So who decided for the interpreters?
Yeah.
In the TV, they have to have a small box on the left. And then it means if someone was deaf and they have an eye problem, so will they have to go and actually check this is what you're saying?
Yeah.
And what do you think about that?
I think that small box really contains us. It's not right at all, but I would we can ask our friend why they decided for that small box.
Okay.
Anyway, I think it's more of like a graphics issues on TV, because TV is there to make money as well.
Yeah.
And so if the bot does not really look good, then they'd rather minimize it or not really have it at all. It's a challenge. It's something that has been brought up many times by deaf viewers. Some of them don't even see the need of watching TV because they're struggling. And even if there is that provision, then it's really not benefiting. Yeah. And so you find that that's something that has really been, I don't think it's a good thing to have the small bots, but I would appreciate the small steps that you've taken, since this is not something that has been there before. I hope moving forward, TV and live broadcasting would do better. Yes,
I'm hoping so
too.
Yeah. Or maybe have maybe a channel for the deaf people.
Yeah.
At least something of that.
Yeah.
The other thing that now we are moving to the other side, which is not more on interpretation.
Yes.
So how do you marry maybe your hobbies? Because first you can tell us your hobbies.
Yes.
And then how do you marry your hobbies to what you do right now?
All right.
And also if you have time for the hobbies.
Well, my hobbies are, 1, hiking. I enjoy hiking, but I've not had the time to do that this year. 2, I enjoy hiking. I enjoy reading a lot, and what else? I think just interacting, meeting people. I'm not an extrovert. I'm an introvert, but I really enjoy being around the company of people, and so once in a week I'll make time for that.
Okay.
Yeah. Hiking. And how do I marry that? Oh, yeah. I remembered another one. I enjoy making video content on sign language humor. sign language interpreters humor.
Okay.
The things that we go through work and we find funny. I create that. I actually have a social media platform. It's called on Instagram, she signs, she.signs. So there you'll find all my content on sign language humor and all that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then now how do you maintain I think I came to learn there's nothing like work-life balance. But how do you try and maintain a work-life balance?
Whenever I can, I sleep a lot, because after work I'm pretty tired, especially from interpreting. So I'll sleep a lot. The work, I'll try schedule my work, and whenever I can't, I'll say I really can't. I can't. I also try balancing my school and my work, in that at least I know this is the time I'm supposed to be in school, and this is the time I'm supposed to be at work. With family, well, I'm not married, I don't have children, but at least I have my relatives, my mom and brother. Maybe during supper when I'm at home, or during breakfast, I'll maximize that time. I'd rather be late and maximize that time with them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for someone who wants to become a sign language interpreter, what skills will they require for them to become one?
Yeah.
And also you can talk about over the years, because now those are 6 years, what have you seen that it's really critical when someone wants to become a sign language interpreter?
Yeah. Communication skills
are
very important, because clearly you'll have to this communication. Signing is communicating. Number 2, you really have to be kind of good with people. By good with, I don't really mean you be a people pleaser or anything. Because of the nature of our work, you really have to really try your level best to look for work for yourself, because work is not readily available. So you really have to be very good with people. People skills are very important. Number 3, you also need to have the confidence. I've seen younger interpreters, maybe those ones who are not experienced, they go learn sign language, then they say, I cannot sign because I'm afraid to stand or sit in front of people. Then why were you learning in the first place? So you may not really be all that outgoing and courageous, but at least try your level best to be comfortable to stand or to sit in front of people and be okay with it. So I think number 4, you have to have the willingness to learn the language, sign language, and number 2, to interact with deaf people, because they own this is their language. You cannot get anywhere if you're not interacting with deaf people. So you have to be that person who attends their events, have a friend or 2, 3, 10 even deaf friends, so that you can improve on your skills.
Now we're coming to the end. And now at the end, I wanted maybe you sign your name. And then also after you're signing your name, if someone wants to maybe get in touch with you, how they can get in touch with you.
All right.
And any nuggets that you can give us.
Amazing. So Tracy, my name. So this is how you sign. Name or name. Mine, we can try with you. T. We have T. Yes, good. R. Yes. A.
This is A.
Yes. Yes. Then Y. Yeah.
This one.
This one looks like a Y actually, right?
Yeah.
But
in another world, call me.
Call. This is sign for phone or call. Yeah. Yeah. So, you're not wrong.
What is T?
T. Yes.
Is it like this or like this?
Yeah, like that. Yeah. Then R looks like the small R. Then A. Then C actually looks like a C, right?
Yeah.
Then Y. Tracy.
Interesting.
Yes. And my sign name is Tracy. This, your 2 fingers like this. Tracy. Yes. I got this sign name. A sign name is a name given to you by deaf people to identify you.
Okay.
Maybe it's like being baptized a second time.
So basically, they can't say where is Tracy.
Yeah,
with all
you
the-
won't
yeah, so
keep on saying
also
Tracy.
Ah,
Yeah, and they'll know,
okay.
oh, Tracy.
Okay.
And you're given that sign name from a special feature on your face or a special characteristic or a behavior. Like me, my sign name is like this because you see in school I used to forget a lot.
Ah.
Yes, this sign for forget. And then I also used to like apply the gel. And I used to walk to school, so I used to walk to school, so I used to like actually really sweat a lot, and so it used to flow. So then my deaf teacher is like, wait, Kwanzaa, you're forgetting. You're not a good student, so I'll give you Tracy. So that's how my name came to be.
Okay.
Yeah, Tracy. Special nuggets. There are so many careers outside there that you can succeed from. It's just up to you to have an open mind. Yeah, just have an open mind. And it's not about, you see, I learned something like maybe the time Abraham and Lot were dividing, or they were having conflict.
Yeah.
And then Abraham told Lot, look around, see what you want, pick the land, you just go to where you want. And Lot chose the area that was green and beautiful, and Abraham was left with the other. So, but who succeeded more? Abraham.
Yeah.
So it's not really about the place that looks like greener pastures. It's you. You have the grace, you have the purpose, you have the zeal and the determination. You can make things prosper. Yeah. So you can find me on my social media handles at she.science on Instagram.
So is it SHE?
Yes.
Okay.
SHE dot
Okay.
SINNS. Science.
Okay.
Yeah. So she signs. I got the name from like, oh, you sign. Oh, she signs. She signs. So like she signs.
Okay.
Yeah. So she signs on Instagram and Facebook. Also on my LinkedIn account, Tracy D Wairimo. Yeah. And on my email, the email you'll find it on my Instagram page. Yes, I am open to interpreting for conferences, for parties, for anything, especially for conferences. You invite me, I'll go with my team. Yeah. So thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
And with that, we call it a wrap.
Yay.
Yeah. So thank you guys for who are listening, for who are watching. I think for this one, it's easier when you watch because you'll see the signs that Tracy is interpreting. And thank you for the last listeners and for the ones who want to see more of this. We have 8 more episodes that we've already uploaded. And with that, it's a wrap. My name is Nancy Gitonga, and this is Just Not Career Podcast. Toodaloo.